Hey Total Beauties, it's Mary here, and I'm here with the amazing celebrity hairstylist, Harry Josh.
How you doing?
And today, because I know I have a holiday party to go to on Friday, and then probably a couple more after that, I know you guys do too, and so the big question is, once you find the sparkly dress to wear, what are you going to do with your hair? So, we've got Harry here, who's going to show us an awesome look that he did on Rose Byrne, correct?
I did it for a Chanel dinner she went to.
And she looked gorgeous, and so I'm gonna let him hopefully transfer me into Rose Byrne for my
or at least the hair.
The hair. Okay.
We'll never be as funny as that girl, but you know, at least the hair. So that'll be really awesome.
So
I'll take
walk
it
us
away.
through what you've been doing and what you're gonna do.
All right, guys. So for everyone who's home who's just starting to tune in, it's really important for you guys to know what I did off camera. All right, so you're coming into it, you're watching it now. It looks like 80% of it's waved. You don't know how I got there. You don't know what I put in her hair, but I'm going to tell you right now. The most important thing you can do is for any woman out there, I don't care what kind of hair texture you have, whether you have fine hair, straight hair, curly hair, unruly hair, nice hair, it doesn't matter. You need product and tools. There's no look you'll ever see in a magazine, on a carpet, on a cover of anything, on a TV commercial, on a TV show that does not have those two basic elements. Mousse is my favorite product on the market. I love this one. You can get it from the drugstore. It's a John Frieda Frizzi's mousse. Totally inexpensive. I think it's under 10 bucks. So truly, this is a great product. Doesn't matter. So even if you don't have frizzy hair, you're like, oh, but the mousse is for frizzy hair. It's great for girls with frizzy hair. However, even if you don't have it, it's a great mousse. You do not have frizzy hair. And I'm probably going to give it some wild texture at the end, but
Good.
Generally speaking, when I started with her, she didn't have frizzy hair, but I wanted to use the mousse because it's a lightweight styler. I applied it on dry hair, which you were surprised about.
I was surprised because
You're
I
like, you
thought
don't,
you had to do it wet.
So you can apply it on wet hair, you can apply it on dry hair. It's the versatility of the product, which I really love, and I do root to tip. So for a lot of people are like, well, how much exactly mousse am I supposed to be using? Yeah. I would say for everyone, come around here for a second, just see the size of the ponytail. So that was a good gauge for people at home to see. So she's got pretty thick hair. So that's about how much hair we have. So for hair this size, I'm gonna drop it back out, I would say I like to divide the hair into quadrants. So I like to do from center of the nose, all the way back, ear to ear. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. Each section, size of a large egg.
Oh, okay.
Or a small tennis ball, or like, you know, like,
that.
yeah, so about that much. So you do, and the key is to apply it the way I just said, in the quadrants. Because what ends up happening is people watch something, they're like, oh, you just apply a ton of mousse. They go like this, and they go like that. And then all this hair has no product, and the front is gooey and sticky, and then they report back, I hate product. It makes my hair feel like awful. So very important for you guys to watch, to know how to apply product to really get the maximum benefits we can from it. So, like we talked about, 4 quadrants, size of an egg, a large egg, of course, because she's got quite a bit of hair, raked through, root to tip.
Just with your fingers, or do you need to comb it through?
Fingers. Fingers is good. You can always comb it through. A comb's a great way to evenly distribute products, so whether you're not using mousse, use a comb. Tools are everything. So really, really important to have good combs that don't break the hair, that allow the product to work its way through. So once I had applied the mousse on your dry hair, which you can apply on wet hair, so don't be afraid to do that. I did it just because we didn't have a sink and I knew it would work equally as well, which it did. So that being said, we did that. The second thing I did is just to get a little texture at the roots. I love using this a spray that I use called Evo, which I cannot find unless it drops on the floor. But Evo spray is a salt spray. It's called Salty Dog. All right. Oh. Okay, so that's it's a funny name for a product, right? The Salty Dog product. But it's really cool because it's really, really rough. So it's not a product you actually want to feel to be like, that feels lovely. It actually feels really bad. But if you just squirt a tiny bit at the roots, it gives it that rough texture so that at the end, when I rough it up, which we haven't gotten to that point yet, you'll see the texture I'm talking about. So that'll make a place there. So we then rough dried her hair just with our fingertips. And then the same thing with the sectioning again after you blow dried the hair. Very important for people at home to know how to blow dry your hair. All right. Nozzles are key. Okay. So a lot of people at home, when they have their blow dryers, take this off, my mother included, will throw some like, I don't need this. I just need this. This is what I want.
Have it go wild.
Go wild. This is going to slow my blow dry down. That's nonsense. There is a definite purpose for these nozzles, and that is to control heat and speed. All right, so when you have a nozzle as narrow as this, hopefully you guys can get how narrow that is. This blow dryer particularly comes with 2 nozzles. It has a wide nozzle that allows for heavy airflow for light lifting and blow drying, and this concentrated narrow nozzle that really allows the hair to be sleek and smooth. Now, because I didn't actually have to dry your hair because it was dry, I just rough dried it, I could have taken this off. But instead, I just rough dried it all the way around. But for everyone at home who struggles with blow drying their hair, key tip, use your nozzle. Make sure that your brush hovers over your nozzle. So I'm not turning the power on, and I don't want to straighten what I've waved, but just for everyone at home to get a visual, when I say the brush should travel, this is where you want the nozzle, hovering over the hair about 1/2 an inch. And then really just holding those ends under to wrap it. Hot air, cold air. Very important feature. A lot of girls out there say, well, I don't ever need the cold air unless I'm sweating, and I kind of use that to that. That is not the purpose. Yeah, it is not the purpose of a cold shot in a blow dryer. Every blow dryer since the beginning of time pretty much has a cold shot. What makes this cold shot particularly unique is that it actually shoots out cold air. So I'm going to just turn this on so you can just do it. So, get it going? Yeah.
It's already chilling in here.
So that's pretty amazing because what happens for the most dryers that you get on the market, good dryers too, we're not talking bad dryers, any dryer, when you use a cold shot, what it does is it removes the heat. So you get from boiling hot, you press the cold shot, and it just becomes kind of lukewarm or cooler than what the heat is. This dryer in particular has a really cold shot. Why I'm telling you all this is because when you do a good holiday blow dry, you're going to an office party and you're not going to wave your hair like this. I'm going to give her a very cool look. And maybe that's too cool for you. And you're like, I got beautiful hair. I want to have an amazing blow dry. I like my hair smooth, but I want body. I want a lot of movement. That cold shot is what makes those blow dries that, for any of you guys who know my work, who've seen Victoria's Secret, who see a lot of the campaigns and stuff that I do, that bodacious big Giselle hair comes from a cold shot. So what happens is, let's say I'm using a round brush like this. I'm pulling in my section, I'm heating it up. Once I lock that cold air, it is freezing that hot air, the hot section. So when I take out my brush, I'll have the strongest bounce because it was so hot and then I froze it.
So it kind of locks it in. It
locks it in. So then after I do a couple sections of that and I just rake the comb through her hair, it's just like this huge bouncy, it's like what everyone wishes a blowout would look like, but often just kind of falls short of it. So I hope I'm not giving you too much information, but really, really important. So even if you don't recreate this look, these are valuable tips that you'll live with forever, holiday season or not. All right,
that's a great one.
Okay, good for that. Back to this look in particular, curling. So a lot of people who curl their hair don't know how to curl their hair properly. A lot of the times, especially back in the 80s, we had spring irons. So that spring iron would start at the bottom, and you would wrap it up, and you'd hold onto it, and you'd just slide out your section, and you'd have a big corkscrew curl. Now these are called professional Marcel irons. Now I know a lot of people who go to salons see this, and Marcels are designed for people like me, professional hairdressers, to be able to just fly through the hair and spin it through, pull it out, and just kind of do that. So, impossible for someone at home to be like, I can't do that. That's crazy.
Is this what makes it the
Yes, this has this rotates it and allows me to go in both directions so I can really press hair. The word Marcel is really coming from France, and there was a certain look that was the Marcel waved look in the 30s, and that's where this kind of originated. However, which is super cool about this iron, it's a 2-in-1 iron. So if you're not crafty with this, or it freaks you out. My mom was obviously a 60s woman, so she loves this, and she doesn't do the spinning thing, but what she does, which is very cool, look, I've done it on photo shoots before too, she grabs her thick hair, she puts this in, she closes it, and she just rolls it up halfway. And then she grabs the next section, and she rolls it in, holds it halfway. And then when she brushes it all out, she's got this big, bouncy blow dry look, but she really did it with the iron. So forget all the complicated stuff. If you're used to using a wand, guess what? One click, it's a wand.
What?
And since you guys are at home, most likely going to use this, we're going to curl with this too. All right, when it comes to direction, a lot of people have been told and read, and I have definitely been guilty of saying this myself, hold the iron this way. So when you're wrapping the hair around it this way, or you're wrapping it around it this way. So the vertical thing works, but what ends up happening is if your hair is very layered or very just thinned out and texturized too much, especially in the front, when you start doing all your hair this way, you end up with one huge sausage curl. By the time you get in the car, you don't know how it happened, but it looks like one massive ringlet.
Yeah.
All right? And you're like, I don't know how this happened, but I look like I have one, like Nellie Olson from Little House on the Prairie. So what you really want to do is have a modern look to it. So altering the way you hold the iron will change the pattern of the wave. So I left a quarter of a section out here because I want everyone at home to really witness from start to scratch what a wave would look like. So here's a section of hair.
How big of a section?
Okay, so this section, so this section right here is probably a square inch. You guys can probably see what that is. That's a square inch of hair. And the iron I'm using is a 1.25 inch because I don't really want tight curl on her. I want it to be really wavy. And believe it or not, that's actually what most people want. But for those of you who don't know, the right size of iron is going to change everything for you back home. So I'm going to just iron this. So I'm going to wrap my hair around here. Here we go. Boom, 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 wrapping this, keeping the tail at the front of the head. That is important for everyone who knows how to wave hair, that this tail, when I wrap, should be at the tip of the iron. Now I'm going to quickly, even though the other side's done, I want to just show you something else. So just quickly again, we wrapped it, the tail was in the end. This side, and pull it down for a second. This side, however, even though it's curled, when you grab your section of hair, you're going to wrap it so the tail stays in the end. So it's an exact mirror image of the other side, which will create that perfect bounce. All right, so again, one side going forward, we're going to do another piece so everyone can watch again. Here we go, grabbing a section of hair, and we're going to just wrap it around. I'm going to leave a little bit of that end out, and then a little bit less, and just at the very end I kind of touch it just a little bit. If it gets too curly, I can pull it out by just doing a little bit of that. Another trick for everyone to realize is if your hair, maybe you were talking to someone while you were curling, your roommate or something, and a piece got really curly, the key to stretching that piece out is while it's hot to pull on it. So I'm going to make this piece too curly, just so everyone to see how to correct when you make it too curly. So you're wrapping the hair around, just like we spoke about the other two sections. I'm talking to my roommate. Yeah, it's on the top shelf. You can't miss it. Third one down. Fourth. Oh, wait, my hair. So then I take it out. It's like too curly. So while it's hot, I have to make it hot again just so it's really hot. So while it's hot, I pull on it. And when I pull on it, because the heat is still in that hair, I can slowly start to let go, and you start to see that the wave totally softens and transforms. Nice. So don't fear if you've curled your hair like, holy, this looks way too curly. The key is to get it hot again and just re-stretch it out. All right. So
Harry, they want to know, what type of wand are you using?
This is my wand. This is the Harry Josh Pro Tools curling iron. It's the world's first 2-in-1 curling iron. So as you saw me demonstrate, it's a professional Marcel, or even a Marcel for novices, really, or it just transforms into a wand. So you can get this online at dermstore.com. You can go to my site, harryjosh.com. There's plenty of places for you to be able to source this, but it is the Harry Josh Pro Tools 2-in-1 Marcel iron. And for her, particularly, I'm going to stop right now and show everyone at home really something that people don't understand. These are two irons. I can put them side by side so it's easier. I've got two sizes here. For the sake of people getting confused, just know that this also becomes a 2-in-1, so let's make them look the same. Isn't that cool? All right, so this iron, for the most record, scares people like, well, I don't want tight curls. I want big, bouncy waves, and that would definitely be too small, so I'm going to buy this one. Now, the problem with this is you've got to dictate what your hair is from the get-go. So if you've got silky, virgin, slippery hair that's never fuzzy dry and never holds a curl to save their life, but you just want this big movement, you don't want a big iron, you have to buy a small iron. That is the biggest problem that a lot of people have. So if you've got very healthy hair that you know drops no matter what you do, that you've had your hair done professionally and by the time you get home it drops, you need to go down. Your iron size is incorrect. Now if you've got processed hair, blonde hair, bleached hair, thick hair, curly hair, wavy hair, anything that holds a curl, like her hair holds a curl like that. You all saw how quickly it got tight. I'm going to use a large iron. So very important for people to know what size of iron to use to really create the desired end result.
And Harry, how long are you leaving holding a curl for?
So each section is going to depend on the process of the hair. So you have a couple highlights, it looks like, nothing more than that. So highlighting hair actually processes the hair enough that it becomes a little drier, a little rougher, so you don't have to hold the iron so much. Now if you had virgin, silky, shiny, I've never colored my hair, I've done anything, that you have to hold the iron a lot longer. So as long as maybe 10 to 15 seconds, probably 10 seconds, 15 is way too long. Probably 10 seconds a section to really get a nice, full, body full style. Again, just wrapping the last two sections here just so we can get a thing. If they go a little too tight, pull that pull down. And then just one more. And then, so once we finish this, you know, it's very odd to not work in front of a mirror, by the way. Most hairdressers work in front of mirrors, so I'm just guessing what this looks like. So occasionally I will do that and just make sure this is doing what it's supposed to be doing, which looks
Just
like it.
really trying to challenge you.
Yeah,
today.
totally. But I think we can make that work, so that's okay. So that being said, a lot of these, once you get to this texture, so if you're lucky and you have hair, you wake up and you actually have hair quite like her already. You're like, you know what? I don't need to do all that stuff that he just did because my hair, I wake up and my hair looks like that already.
In which case I'm jealous.
Yeah, and that way, yeah, but there are girls. I mean, Giselle has hair like that without
Of course
me.
she does.
I wish that I could take her credit for her hair, but her hair is just
No.
pretty much perfect and doesn't really need me. So, yes, exactly. So, I was going to show everyone at home what this would do for someone who wants to straighten out an end. So often when you wrap it, sometimes you feel like, wow, everything's awesome, but my ends look a little too curly. So even if you're scared of this, this is a great way for you to learn how to just practice by just smoothing out the ends. So what I do, so like let's say it's a little curly, I can just kind of like press, and it just straightens out that end a bit. I can just press it through, and it just straightens out the ends a little bit. So all we're starting to do, if there's anything that seems like extra curly or not right, we can just press through the hair. And just press through the hair. And what I'm doing more than anything, as you can see right here, here's a great example of it. See what happens? You get a straight end, but there's still curvature. So that's what you're looking for. A lot of the times I see girls, they wave their hair halfway and then it's like poker straight, like not even a bend. And that's not really the goal. The goal is to have a finesse like this, where it just kind of has it straight, but it's not curly, but it just has this kind of smooth, flattened out end like that. And that's ultimately what every girl wants to have. So for those girls who happen to wake up and have hair like this, now you pay attention, because this is where your job comes in. So the next thing you want to do is to create kind of wild texture. I love using the Serge Normand dry shampoo. This one in particular is right here, okay? This one in particular I love for a different reason. Dry shampoos, there's the cover there. So dry shampoos typically are designed to suck out oil. That is the main purpose of a dry shampoo. If you've got oily hair, there's so many that are out there, you just spray the kind of powder in, it sucks up the oil, you get instant lift in volume. Now what's unique about this particular one is it actually builds so much texture into the hair that it expands. So with my fingers, I'm gonna just kind of squirt a little bit of time. And you know, this end look I'm going for the record, just in case you're like, God, her hair looks messy, is a messy look. It's a messy, sexy, textured look that looks really kind of wild and full. And as I'm starting to do this, you can start to see the hair starts to expand.
Is it getting big, guys? All right.
So you start seeing that the volume start to take place. And all I'm doing is going system, layer by layer, just squirt, squirt, squirt.
Feeling.
Are you aiming that at the roots or?
I'm trying to do it over the whole shaft of the hair. So I'm trying to just kind of, because that's what I'm saying. The other dry shampoo, the real oil suckers out there, those are designed to be put in the roots. That's what that's really designed for. What this does, no, let's shake it up, is it really just gives it that lived in, wild, looks like she has tons of hair.
Whoa.
You know, look, so it's,
lion mane.
you know, and I think she's actually, you're a side parter, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah, so like this would be her texture on how to get it to look, you know, like really sexy and big and wild and like, I don't know if anyone ever saw that movie Vicky Barcelona Cristina with Penelope Cruz, but her hair was incredible. And I've always thought that every woman should walk around with a big jungle mane like that because it was so good. So here we have it. We've got some texture. So here's another trick. So you have a good texture that's going on. This is still not the look, but these are still valuable tips for you guys at home to see. So if you realize that something has dropped, which I see that this has dropped a little bit, go back in and just touch up certain spots to create a little bit more texture.
Harry, they want to know what that spray was again.
It is the Serge Normand Meta Revive Dry Shampoo. Available probably at Amazon or anywhere. I feel like everything's available everywhere anyway. And again with the iron. And see like just great texture that the iron's giving. Again. And now, as you can start to see, you're going to get close up. This is what I do. When I do a lot of the Victoria's Secret things, the curls aren't uniform. So what I start to do is I start grabbing chunks of hair that are going in different directions and just kind of grab, like this is like a messy piece, and I'll go like this and I'll wrap the whole thing just for a second. Make it really messy and then pull it out. And then when I start to shake it, you don't really see, if you were to see here, you don't see too many curling iron marks. And that's kind of the key. You just want to see texture. You don't want to see like ringlets, you don't want to see curls, you just want to see like wild big hair, you don't really know.
Amazing.
So that's a good thing to do. Always pick up your tools, brush it out. So the next thing I'm going to do, this is when it gets into the look. I know you're a side partner, but I think what I'm going to do with you will be
Go for
all
whatever.
back.
Okay.
So that being said, for this particular look, I always use a reference of Belle de Jour from Catherine Deneuve. For you younger people out there who are watching this, if you have a little Yorkie poodle, it looks pretty much the same way. All right, so basically you're going to take, I don't have a mirror, but I'm assuming this is the same spots here.
Feels right.
Feels about right. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a nice high pony.
Yes.
So I love to use a tail comb. Tail combs are amazing for me because they give really clean sections, and just sometimes when you have wild, messy hair, you want it to look deliberate and not like, oh, she obviously didn't do her hair. You want it to look like, oh, her hair looks so cool. So these details that I'm doing, having a clean section when it comes to the ponytail, like here I am, you see like a clean line like that. That kind of stuff does help. And a tail comb's great to really create those lines. So if you don't have a tail comb, invest in a tail comb. I make this tail comb, it's the Harry Josh Pro Tools tail comb. I know it sounds like a different bristle, but it's not. But you can get any old tail comb, I don't care, but use one because it really does help create clean lines and it also helps with sectioning. So I think that's about a good spot for me to go. I'm going to get a trusty elastic band to do this. And then what I'm literally doing, and this is, I'm sure as you viewers at home watch, you're like, oh my God, my Maltese has that hair look. So,
It's a very in-style look now.
it is a very in-style look, and I mean,
Half
like I
ponies.
said, I did it for Rose at a Chanel dinner, and everyone loved it.
Yeah. We'll post
so-
that picture in the comments.
Yeah, totally. So, oh, her picture is in the comments, so people.
We'll
do-
put it in the comments after
got
so
it.
you can see the before and after.
Yeah.
and-
So then, once you get to this point, and you have to remember, like all this stuff. I don't know if the light's catching it or not. You want all this. You want all the wildness. You want all the texture. You want all of this because that's what makes it look cool. The minute it expands and looks big, this is when it starts to look really, really cool. Another way to get some nice lift up here, I tend to use a tail comb. And I take, well, after you put the ponytail in, very important, all right? So you put your ponytail in, you're going to take little sections of hair, and all you're going to do is just back comb. And you're going to take another little section of hair, and you're going to back comb.
Backcombing.
And how are you backcombing your hair?
I'm literally taking microscopic sections with my tail comb, and then I'm just putting the hair about, let's say, about 2 inches in, and just pushing it down to the base. Pushing it down to the base.
You're not going back and forth, right? You're just going
No,
down,
just
down,
pushing
down.
it down into the base so it packs the root, as we call it. You're packing just the root, and what that will do is it will create the lift that we're looking for. Okay, so it'll look a little ratty like that. Now you gotta smooth that part out. Very important, there's always fine details for everyone to know at home. And this is something that comes from years of doing photo shoots and magazines and red carpets. What is the deliberate and what is the, how do I get, like, what's the right amount of mess? What is the right amount of, like, you know, does it look good? Does it not look good? Having these details, nice clean lines, smoothed out top of the ponytail like I'm doing right now. So it's just got like nice smoothness, you know, and I'll put some spray to finish that off. You know, these kind of details, the sectioning that, allows this to be wild and still look cool. Because you've obviously deliberately done something
Right.
wrong and something's right.
It's all about
when
balance.
yeah, it's all about balance. But what's great for everyone to just see, you just point your head that way.
Yep.
So you just get a really good texture. And I think that's the kind of texture that most girls really want. They don't want curls. They don't want necessarily waves. They just want to have this awesome bed head that they woke up with that looks amazing and just has this really cool, sexy texture. Look straight ahead. You don't have mirrors. Make sure you're balanced, which I think you are. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty much your holiday look.
Fabulous. I can't wait to recreate this on Friday. for
Yeah,
our
or
holiday
don't
party.
watch it. Just don't watch it. Yeah, just live with it.
Even better.
So hopefully that was helpful for you guys at home. You know, there's so much information. So if you guys missed it the first time around, watch it again, share it with friends. I think it's an awesome educational lesson, and hope you guys
Yeah.
have a great holiday.
And if you have lingering questions, feel free to post them in the comments, and we'll do our best to answer them without Harry. But thank you, Harry, so much for coming in.
Awesome.
I cannot wait to rock this look. And until next time, Total Beauties, I'm Mary. This is Harry, and we'll see you later. Happy holidays.